Herc, Shaka, the internet is screaming for it. They want another bracket eliminator. Today's question, who is the best player in CONCACAF? And we have a great list of 8. There are some that we've left out. If you want to cry about it, into the YouTube comments. I promise you I'll read them in a couple hours. Here is the bracket as it stands. In our Mexican goal scorer division, Raul Jimenez against Carlos Vela. Other half of that bracket, the 2-0 or US Mexico division, Chucky Lozano against Christian Pulisic. Other half of the bracket, Shaka's half of the bracket, Keylor Navas against Leon Bailey. And then the final of the 4 quarterfinals, Alphonso Davies against Sergino Dest, the young gun division. All right, there's our top 8 players in CONCACAF at the moment. Herc, I'm starting with you. You get the first quarterfinal. Raul Jimenez or Carlos Vela, who are you leaving behind?
You're doing this on purpose. You know, some men just want to watch the world burn. This is you, Sebastian Salazar. This is a very difficult one. You know, I've got a soft spot for Charlie Candle. You know, I think he's one of the most talented players in CONCACAF, certainly the most talented Mexican player in that pool. But this is just numbers, and this is at the level you play at. I believe Raul Jimenez has about 22 goals in all competitions for Wolves this year. He scored against all the big 6 clubs in the Premier League. He's got huge clubs, at least rumored to be knocking on his door. Juventus, Barça, who else is on that list? Tottenham, United. So I'm going to go with Raul Jimenez. As talented as Carlos Vela is, as great of a historical season as he had, what Raul Alonso Jimenez is doing right now in the Premier League for a CONCACAF player is almost unprecedented. I mean, not since Chicharito Hernandez have we seen this.
Very well said, Herc. Correct. Raul Jimenez into the semifinals over Carlos Vela. Our next quarterfinal, Shaka, this is all you. Keylor Navas against Leon Bailey. Who are you leaving behind?
Yeah, this is not fair. You give me a goalkeeper and a guy from the Caribbean, and you asking me to pitch my tent in somebody's camp here. Listen, Leon Bailey has been outstanding in Bundesliga, and similarly has a lot of big clubs rumored to be interested. But big clubs nowhere near the kind of club that Keylor Navas once played for or currently plays for. This is an easy decision when it came right down to it. Once I put my bias to one side, it's Keylor Navas.
And you still get to keep your card in the goalie union, so no problem there either.
Yeah, at least I've got that.
All right. Next quarterfinal, back up to you, Herc. Perfect. The U.S. versus Mexico division. Chucky Lozano at Napoli or Christian Pulisic at Chelsea.
You ready for this? Sit down. If you're not sitting down, sit down. Chucky Lozano's making an exit right now.
No!
Chucky Lozano could be in the worst form of his life, and it's probably not even his fault. Is it his fault that he's being asked to play as a second 9? No, probably not. Is it his fault that the coach who brought him in is no longer there? He's in the Premier League now? No, probably not. Is it his fault that Gattuso's almost taking a personal go at, I would say, the whole country of Mexico over Chucky Lozano? Probably not, but it is what it is. By default, Christian Pulisic is playing. Christian Pulisic has been somewhat productive when he has played. He's been one of the better players at goal creation, at stats, goals, 6, assists, 6. Whether it's in the Premier League, Cup, or whatever it may be, he's been doing well when he has gotten on the field. So this one for me is very easy. It's Christian Pulisic.
Let me play devil's advocate just for a moment. My great memory of Chucky Lozano at the international level, scoring a goal against Germany in a World Cup. My memory of Christian Pulisic at the international level, in tears after Trinidad, and in tears on the bench while they were losing to Canada last year. Do you not care about international soccer?
I do. But you're asking me who's the best player now, right? Not in 2018, because I think it's a no-brainer if we go back to 2018.
Canada was 2018. Canada was 2018.
What about that? But what are you asking? You're asking who's a better player. You have to take into account club and country. And even Lozano doesn't play for his club. He doesn't play for his club. And right now, you can't tell me he's a surefire starter for the Mexican national team, because he's not. So what are we left with? By default.
Christian Pulisic into the semifinals, the last of the 4 quarterfinals. Shaka, coming to you. I mean, this is another tough one to pick. Alphonso Davies, Bayern Munich, or Sergino Dest at Ajax, but linked to everybody, including Bayern Munich and Barcelona.
Yeah, so I'm just picking myself up after Herc's last answer going for Pulisic there. I wasn't expecting that. No, I'm all flustered. I'm not sure where I am with this. But listen, Sergino Dest has hit the scene with a bang. Outstanding for Ajax. what we've seen of him for the US men's national team, again, equally encouraging. A lot of speculation around him, and his future is very bright, no question. But put him up against Alphonso Davies is unfair. Alphonso Davies, is slowly but surely establishing himself as one of the best left backs in world football. Continues to get better and better. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still got a way to go, but where he is right now, the raw tools that he brings to the table, the club that he's at with Bayern Munich, the players that he has around him and can learn from Alaba, sets his ceiling so much higher than everybody else's. Right now, it's just desperately unfair to Dest. Alphonso Davies goes through again easily.
All right, there it is. Our final four: Raul Jimenez, Christian Pulisic, Keylor Navas, Alphonso Davies. CONCACAF, okay, with some real quality here. The first semifinal goes to Herc, Keylor Navas, or Alphonso Davies. Not getting any easier as these rounds go on, huh?
It's very difficult. And listen, Shaka put it into terms right there. The ceiling for Alphonso Davies, he's been playing this position for half a season, and look how unbelievably well he's been playing it at. Yes, his positioning at times could be shaky, but he's getting better every single game. And look who he's put on the bench. Look at Hernandez. He's got some crazy people he's put on the bench, some crazy people singing his praises. But we're talking about Keylor Navas. And with Keylor Navas, I have to bring in context. I know I didn't do it with Chucky Lozano, but the man won 3 Champions Leagues. Since 2014, you can make an argument that he's been the best goalkeeper, or amongst the best at least, in the world. That's 6 years where he's been consistent. He just won a league title right now at PSG in France. It's easily Keylor Navas. For my money, you can make an argument that he is the best CONCACAF player of all time. And we've got some likes like Hugo Sanchez and Rafa Marquez there.
All right, real quick. Shaka, best CONCACAF player of all time? Are we premature with that for Davies, or is that fair?
No, I think that's absolutely fair. Throw Dwight York into that and makes another player who's won a Champions League. But when you put 3 Champions Leagues on the table, I'm sorry, I don't know who eclipses Keylor Navas.
There you have it. Navas into the final over Alphonso Davies. The second semifinal, Shaka, this one yours. A Mexican-American affair, Raul Jimenez or Christian Pulisic?
Yeah, and he summed it up really well in that Pulisic gets this far almost by default. Jimenez has been simply outstanding. Again, another player that we're going to sit here and question exactly how high his ceiling is. A lot of speculation, as Herc mentioned, around where his future may lie. Continues to be very bright indeed. Whereas, though Pulisic, maybe a couple of years ago, we were having those same discussions, I'm not sure that we are in earnest. Jimenez goes through, and like all these softballs you've thrown my way so far, Seb, easily.
All right. I don't think they're that easy, but we shall see. Our final, Mexico versus Costa Rica. Raul Jimenez against Keylor Navas. Now, in the final, each of you will have your say. If for whatever reason there's a disagreement, of course, I'll bring in the true expert myself to cast the final decisive vote. Shaka, your face. I think that in the YouTube comments really is what says it all. All right, our final, Jimenez versus Navas. Shaka, as our guest, who you taking? Best player in CONCACAF.
Best player in CONCACAF. And as you just asked me moments ago, arguably the best ever player in CONCACAF in Keylor Navas. Once again, you look at his records, you look at all he's accomplished, and no Jimenez, he's still got many years ahead of him. Maybe he does something that brings him into a closer discussion between him and Keylor Navas. But as of right now, as of what we're seeing from Keylor Navas in between these sticks with PSG, what we've seen of Keylor Navas in Madrid, I just don't see how you look any further. And that's no disrespect to Raul Jimenez. That's no disrespect to anybody who's played football in CONCACAF. Keylor Navas.
Herc, I know there's nothing you would enjoy more than denying me the right to speak. Who are you voting for?
Yes, I do love doing that. It's Keylor. It's Keylor every day of the week. Look, Raul Jimenez has been absolutely incredible. He's been on a tear for the better part of 18 months. But that's been his career. It's been 18 months, and he's doing it for a mid-table club, Europa League club. Keylor Navas, for the better part of 6-7 years, has been doing it at the highest level. He's been doing it in La Liga. He's been doing it in Champions League. He's been doing it at Club World Cups. He's been doing it at a World Cup as well. He's had his moment in the sun there. It's not even close. And all this, and you will know what I am talking about, both of you. Without the hype train of the Mexican or American national team, he's doing the Costa Rican national team. That's like Dwight York at his height in the Champions League. It's unheard of, but he's doing it at a more consistent rate. He's easily been one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and all this while raising that CONCACAF flag.
Okay, look, I have to pull the curtain back a little bit here. I didn't even want to put Keylor Navas in this bracket because I knew it threw everything off. So are we saying then, and Shaka, I'll start with you, that Raul Jimenez is the best field player in CONCACAF?
Yeah, I right now, without question. And like the bigger discussion, best field player ever, that's for another Zoom call, I guess. But as of right now, what we're seeing from Jimenez on the field, what we're seeing from everybody else from CONCACAF, I think so. And the only real challenge to that is Alphonso Davies. It's between Jimenez and Davies as to who's the best outfield player in CONCACAF right now. That's a close call. That's a very close call. But you went and put them in opposite sides of the brackets, Seb.
It is a close call. Herc, who would you take between the two?
There has to be something said for playing at the highest level. There has to be something said for already being considered one of the best in your position. And also while doing it in a position that you've played for less than 6 months and you're only 19 years old. That alone edges out Raul Alonso Jimenez for me. Yes, he's had an unbelievable season and a half for Wolves. He's in a great system that suits him. But what we've just seen from Alphonso Davies, I don't think we've ever seen at this level, at least not at the field. I've never seen it. I don't know if Shaka's ever seen this where somebody picks up a position that fast, that young, and is already considered amongst the world's best.
No, to answer your question, no. Quite simply, the only check mark against Alphonso Davies in this discussion is that how short he's been doing it. It's been, bar the enforced break, it's been 6 months. That is the only question mark around Alphonso Davies and where he features. But what we've seen of him in that 6 months, it's been simply outstanding. And as Herc mentions, he's picking this position up. He is learning as he goes along. And as we sit right now, and maybe it's because we're seeing so much more of the Bundesliga, given their earliest restart since the quarantine, but it has simply been fantastic. And I don't know where his ceiling is.
The bracket eliminator has delivered the answer you all wanted. Keylor Navas is the best player in CONCACAF. Who's the best field player in CONCACAF? Now that is another debate.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.